Good evening. This is Ram Morla. Again, welcome back. I wanted this to be a live session, but unfortunately, I couldn't do it because of the technical challenges that I'm facing right now. And we will overcome those technical challenges pretty soon, and I will start conducting live sessions. In today's session, we will discuss about big data. I'm not going to discuss about Hadoop. In my conventional classes, of course, I will discuss about Hadoop, but not in this session today. I will only say one thing about Hadoop. Hadoop is nothing but a framework which facilitates to work on big data. Do we need to learn Hadoop to work on big data? The answer is yes, and the answer is no. Both the answers are correct. For example, you take Oracle. You need SQL. In Hadoop, you have something called NoSQL. In Oracle, you need to install, configure, administrate, and that person is called a DBA. In Hadoop, the same role is necessary. So the person who is working on the person who is working on the role of a database administrator will need to learn about Hadoop. And of course, a person who wants to do the SQL programming called NoSQL here for certain reasons, which I will explain to you later, uh, is a person who is called a programmer. Programmer will also need to understand basic architecture of Hadoop, which I will cover in my conventional classes. Installation, configuration, administration is not our primary focus at this point of time. The one thing I can tell you, which is sufficient for you at this point of time, is generally most of the big data implementations are based on the cloud. You take either Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, or the Azure environment. And there are so many software products available which support big data. For that matter, even latest releases of Oracle also supports big data. So now again, let's discuss about what is big data. What is big data? Big data is nothing but data. Why are we calling it as big data? We are calling it big data because big data will have to undergo, or I will have to satisfy 5 different kinds of attributes. What are those 5 different kinds of attributes? 4 V's and 1 C. What are those 4 V's? The 4 V's are volume, velocity, variety, variance, and complexity. That's the last C. So if data meets these V's, then it's called big data. So what is danger in calling, or what is wrong in calling this big data as data? I am sorry, I don't have an answer to that. There is nothing wrong actually. So whatever you do with the data, you do with big data as well. However, the process, the performance, the speed at which the big data throws out the results to you is faster than normal databases. Right? So what do? You should be doing something different with big data, which you would not be doing with normal data. Yes, you are right. So when if you go to an organization to work as a data specialist, So you will look into the data, you will understand the data, you will understand the business, you will understand the requirements, and based on the requirements, you will organize the data appropriately, and also you will, in the delivery stream, you will create reports, you will facilitate the business stakeholders to create reports, you are and you are making those people capable of doing these things. Also, you will have to make sure that the data is delivered to this reporting environment faster, secured, and efficient, without errors, with proper quality, etc. etc. Right? So, but now using normal data analysis techniques like reporting, ad hoc reporting, etc., etc., it is just not sufficient to understand about the organization very well, right? Why? Because you don't understand everything. Like, for example, let us take a classic case of selling raincoats in London. Uh, everybody, there is a saying, there is a proverb, it rains every day in London, right? So, one specific year, a shop, basically, they got a stock of 200,000 raincoats, thinking that there will be a demand. And that raincoats will not come free of cost for them. They have to spend some money on getting these raincoats. And that particular year, unfortunately, it never rained. Hence, the sales of the raincoats was drastically low, and the manufacturer of the raincoats refused to take the raincoats back, and the shop was forced to sell these raincoats at a very, very, very deep discount to those people who wanted to buy raincoats for future, not for this one. They had to run a promotion which costs money. They had to hire a number of salespeople for that, and finally, the shop has identified that actually they made a huge loss and they have to shut down the shop and file for bankruptcy. How's that? This situation arose to the shop because they did not do a proper research. What do you mean by research? All the research they must have done, they should have done, is how many people will buy the raincoats. How do you know about how many people will buy the raincoats? It depending on the sales of the previous years, previous 20 years. Let's say if the shop was existing since last 20 years, and on year there is a increase in the sales by 5%. 20 years the increase in the sales is 100%, they predicted, and that year they got the double stock than previous year, and none of the raincoats were sold. The whole money was lost. So the shop was forced to close down. Just assume a scenario where the shop is able to take the data from the Met Office in London, understand the behavior of the rain, understand the impact stroke influence of El Nino, the climate cycles, and they would have understood that there may not be enough rain on a daily basis for coming 3 years, and that is possible by analyzing the rain data since last 150 years, or since the records began, which unfortunately did not happen for this shop. So what happens now? So